The ice cream truck? I don't think so. Losing my mind. Ooh. Yes. No. What? No. Come on. No. Oh. No. What are you doing to me? You're tearing me apart!
You'll be on my mind. I'll be dreaming about this till the end of time. We are young, we are free, down for the ride. Might be over tomorrow, but we got this day for
Oh. You came back. Welcome back to another video. Now, you obviously clicked on my thumbnail and my video because you're interested in what I'm going to be talking about today. I know there's a ton of videos out there on making protein ice cream or even trying to copycat Halo Top ice cream. Well, today, this video is going to change everything because I think that I have cracked the code on how to make a similar, if not identical, if not even better than a Halo Top ice cream. Yes, I'm gonna make that claim, but I hope you stick around for the entire video because I have a special guest who's gonna help me to determine how close, if not maybe even possibly better, that we got to Halo Top. Because don't take just my word for it, I want you to get a second opinion as well. So we're going to obviously make a Halo Top type of ice cream today at home. You will need a few appliances, we'll talk about those in a second, but we're gonna judge it based on 3 categories. First one is gonna be based on macros. So how close did we get to the real Halo Top based on calories, fat, protein, and carbs? Second category is gonna be based on consistency. So how creamy it is, the texture, all of that stuff. We wanna see that we can take it straight out of the freezer and enjoy it right away. And third category is going to be based on taste. We want it to taste good. What's the point of enjoying ice cream if it doesn't taste good? So today we're gonna be making actually 2 types of ice cream. And it does take a while for our tub to freeze, so I hope you enjoy this recipe. I hope you enjoy the process that we went through in order for you to enjoy some Halo Top ice cream. So get ready for today's recipe. I hope that you like and subscribe to my channel and to my videos. I'd really appreciate it since you are here. I hope you have your spoon ready. I hope you have some pumpkin puree ready. Just kidding. There's no pumpkin puree in this recipe. But if you were a betting person, you'd probably be 90% correct that at some point in my recipes, there's some pumpkin puree. But not today. Fortunately, you lost that one. We're gonna get to the kitchen and we're gonna get started with our recipe. And welcome back to my kitchen. Before we get started with the recipe, I'm gonna show you everything that you're gonna need in order to make your copycat Halo Top ice cream. So let's start with our first thing, which is making sure that you have a really good scale. You want to make sure that you measure everything out exactly the way that I have and you'll get the exact same result. Next up, you want to get yourself some ice cream freezer safe containers. I got these on Amazon. I'll put the link for the description on all of these items so this way you can access them. And these actually came in a package of 4, so it's well worth the price and the investment. They do a really good job. I probably should have read the description better because I thought they were pint size. These are actually quart size, but you can always just fill it up to a pint-sized individual serving that you want and freeze that, and it still does a really good job. So last but certainly not least is that you are going to need an ice cream maker for this recipe. And you don't need to spend a lot of money in order to get a good ice cream maker that's gonna do a great job. This one here is a Cuisinart. It's just over $100 and it's well worth the investment, especially if you're an ice cream person like myself. So it's really simple to use. All you have to make sure is that the tub that it comes with, which is filled with water, is in the freezer for at least 18 to 24 hours. So ours has been in the freezer for over 24 hours, so it's nice and frozen and ready to go when we're ready to put our mixture in there. So that's pretty much it. We're ready to get ready with our first recipe, which is making our peanut butter cup protein halo top ice cream. So let's get started with the recipe and show you how to do that. All right, we're ready to get started. What we're gonna do first is we're gonna mix all of our dry ingredients into a separate bowl, and then we'll put our wet ingredients in a larger bowl. So you will need a smaller bowl and a larger bowl. So the first ingredient that we're gonna be using for our dry mix is our protein powder. This one here is a whey isolate protein and is chocolate flavored from Canadian Protein. Go check it out. Don't forget to use Matters 372 at checkout to get 10% off and help support the channel. So we're gonna use 45 grams of our protein powder. So to our dry mix, we're gonna add some cocoa powder, which is gonna help to enhance those chocolate flavors. We're gonna use 6 grams of our cocoa powder. So next up, we're gonna use some powdered peanut butter. Again, help to keep the calories down, but still give us that nice peanut butter kick. So we're gonna add 20 grams of our powdered peanut butter. Also to our dry mix, we're gonna add some chocolate jello pudding. We're gonna add about 5 grams. This is gonna help to not only sweeten it up, but also to enhance those chocolate flavors. So a very important ingredient is adding some xanthan gum. This is gonna help to take away some of those ice crystals that we might get during the ice cream process. So we're gonna add exactly 1.5, no more than 2 grams of xanthan gum. All right, now that we've mixed all of our dry ingredients, we're just gonna put that aside until we're ready to mix that in with all of our wet ingredients. So now we're gonna get started with making our ice cream base with our milk ingredients. All right, for our wet or milk ingredients, we are going to start by having a large bowl. It's important that you mix all of this into a large bowl because then we are going to store this in the fridge for it to cool down. So our very first milk ingredient is going to be using some evaporated milk. So our full can of our evaporated milk equals 373 grams, which is roughly about 373 milliliters. So we're gonna make up the difference to make 500 milliliters using our next milk ingredient, which I'm going to be using some cashew milk. Very low in calorie, only 25 calories per cup. We're gonna make up the difference, like I said, from 373 to 500 with our cashew milk. So now we're gonna start to sweeten this up. We're gonna be using our sweetener. This one here is a monk fruit erythritol sweetener. So we're gonna add 30 grams of our sweetener to our milk ingredients. Next, to not only help sweeten it up, but it's also the sugar, which is gonna help for us to get that creamier consistency later on when it does freeze. So we're gonna use 12 grams of this organic cane sugar. We're gonna be using some Vitafiber. This is a sweet functional fiber. I've used it in other recipes like my protein bars. You can sub this out for corn syrup, which is a little bit higher in calories, lower in fiber. This is a really good option for you to not only add fiber, but also to help with that sweetness and thickening it up. We're gonna add 2 tablespoons, which is equal to 44 grams. We're just gonna add a little bit of salt, and the salt just helps to enhance the flavors that we're putting into our mixture. So next up, we're just gonna use some vanilla extract, about 5 milliliters. Last up, before we start to blend, is just adding in these sweet drops. Here I'm going to do a combination to equal 1 teaspoon of our vanilla cream sweet drops. And here I have some hazelnut, again, just to bring out the chocolate flavor. So I'm gonna use the equivalent of about 1 teaspoon or about half a teaspoon, depending on how sweet you want it. All right, ready to mix this all together. I have my milk ingredients, which I am going to mix first. I have my dry ingredients, which I'm gonna be adding in slowly. And obviously I have my hand blender to help me mix it all together. So I'm gonna do that and get this going. And just use a spatula to help you bring some of the mixture from the outside towards our blender. This way we can blend it all up. What you should have is a nice, creamy, smooth consistency. And if you get some air bubbles in there, that's all right. But you should get this happening where you see it kind of coat the back of the spatula. That's how you know that it is pretty good and thick, well combined. You don't see any clumps. So here we go. We got our mixture. We're gonna put it in the fridge for about 4 hours. The longer you have it in the fridge, the better your ice cream is gonna be, because the colder your mixture is going to be. The colder the mixture is, the better your ice cream, trust me. So we're gonna cover that up and put that in our fridge. All right, so we're ready for my favorite part, which is making our ice cream and putting it inside of our ice cream container. Now, I'm gonna go get the ice cream tub in just a second, but before I do, I will say this. The ice cream containers that you are going to be using to store your ice cream in, while your ice cream is churning, which is gonna take about 25 minutes, put your containers in the freezer. What that's going to do is limit the amount of temperature loss from when you get the ice cream and put it inside of your containers. You want to minimize that, because that's when ice crystals form, is when there is this change in temperature between the heat and the cold. So if these are cold, our container's cold, and we can keep everything as cold as possible within that time, then it's gonna hopefully eliminate as much of those ice crystals as possible, and we can just eat it straight out of the tub and get that nice creamy texture. All right, so here is our frozen center tub, which we're gonna put together. We're gonna put these in the freezer, and then we're gonna get our mixture and put it in our ice cream maker. I'm just gonna give it one final stir. Feel free to give that a taste, because if this tastes good, your ice cream is gonna taste good. So one final tip before I pour my mixture into my ice cream maker is to actually start the machine. Don't put it in and then start the machine. This is gonna help to avoid, again, any ice crystals that might come about. Here we go. I'm not gonna leave any macro behind on this one. I want to do this as quickly as I can. So I have my scales here because I'm going to weigh it out as I'm putting it inside of the container. Did a pretty good job of not leaving any macro behind. And we're pretty even at 321 each side. I'm just gonna finish off by patting these down. All right, so these are both ready to go in the freezer. We're gonna let those harden up, because if I'm gonna make my second one, I'm gonna have to refreeze the tub, so we gotta wait anyways. I'm gonna let these sit for a good day or so in the freezer. And thanks to the wonders of editing, I could just fast forward to the next day, and we're gonna get started with cookies and cream ice cream. So for our cookies and cream ice cream, again, look in the description to find the recipe, but it is exactly the same base recipe, obviously more vanilla flavor driven than chocolate, but the process is the same. We've put our mixture in the fridge for 4 hours. We made sure that the center tub has been frozen for 18 to 24 hours, and we're gonna add that to our ice cream maker. The only difference here now is we're gonna add in some Oreo cookies, which we have about the equivalent of 2 Oreo cookies that we're gonna add in when there's about 5 minutes left on the ice cream maker to be churned. that's when we're going to be adding in our cookie crumbs. And if you want to add anything to your ice cream, that's usually a good time to add it in so that it gets folded in and mixed properly. Alright, so there's about 5 minutes left before the ice cream is done, so that's usually a good time to add in anything that you want to add into the mixture. This way it gets churned in with the ice cream process. And now we're done, so here's the final product, and we're going to transfer our ice cream to our freezer safe containers. So those are ready to go. We're going to store those in the freezer for over 24 hours, and we're going to get ready for our taste test and see how they do in comparison to our Halo Top. Alright, so that brings us to the end of our recipe video. Feel free to try this out. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. Now we will be doing an official taste test and a breakdown of all the macros in the next video, and I'm going to invite my special guest to join me, but they need a little encouragement, so I need your help. I want this video to get 100 likes. If we can get 100 likes on this video, then I'm going to invite my special guest to join me for the official taste test, where we're going to break down the macros, we're going to look at consistency, we're going to look at taste, and we're going to compare our ice cream to a Halo Top ice cream and see how we did. So let's go. Smash that thumbs up button. You can hit that subscribe button also while you're here. Let's get 100 likes on this video. Can we do it? Come on, let's go. Until next time, my name is Lewis, this is Macro Matters, and don't leave any macro behind.